Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us this far. Thank you so much for listening in to all our conversations up until now. Earlier on, I asked you to celebrate the important women in your life. Earlier on, I urged you to tell me the special things about the special women in your life. I'm still waiting for your feedback. Talk to us on all our social media platforms at KUTV Kenya on Twitter, at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. Let us know who these important women are in your life. What is this that is so special about these women in your life? Into today's conversation, today we get to talk about sex education, but we're tackling womanhood. We have our favorite therapist. We have Madam Rebecca here with us to take us through this conversation, to give us some insights, a lot of knowledge. But as we get into that, last episode we were with her, she spoke to us about introducing sex education to our teenagers. That's where we left off last time, and today we are picking it up. But specifically talking about the woman. Today we've chosen to take care of the woman. Today we've chosen to look into the life of a woman. So I asked you earlier, who introduced you or who walked you through, or how was the journey for you when you started experiencing body changes? How was it for you? How was that road for you when you started your menstrual stage? Did you think you were dying at some point, like, why am I bleeding? Am I about to die? What's going on in my life? You know, and then all your body changes. How was it? Talk to us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to have you back.
Happy to have me back too.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women Day.
Mm-hmm.
That was of yesterday.
But we are continuing ours today.
The devil wanted to spoil it for us.
Yes, he was working very hard.
We won as a nation.
We did.
We did. Yeah, so I'm very thankful that I'm here to celebrate the woman and everyone listening to us, not only the woman, because without even that other gender, the woman wouldn't be. So we are celebrating everyone. But specifically for today, the woman. Yes.
Let's look at the woman.
Yes.
Because what would the world be without the woman?
So one of the things that I usually tell a woman is that a woman was created so dynamic. If only you happen to know who you are. Right from the moment you are a very young girl, a very small girl, you were created very, very dynamic. You can do things. You can be a mover and a shaker. You can become great if you so want. So every woman listening to me out there, including our dear lady who was abused and molested, that does not mean that you've become useless. That does not mean that you look down on yourself. Lift yourself up. Move on and ahead. In fact, you are a strong lady. You are our hero.
She is.
Women are great. They should celebrate themselves for who they are. They should love themselves for who they are, irrespective of your body shape. You must not look like the other one. I mean, the definition of beauty or the definition of a woman is not slim or plump or short or tall. It is just you.
As a woman.
The definition of the beauty of a woman.
Yes. You as a woman, you define
the beauty of a woman. Yes.
Wow. A woman, I like to say a woman is a powerhouse. You're a ball of power. There's so much a woman can do.
Yes.
So much a woman can do.
So much. In fact, including the Bible itself, invests a lot of power in a woman.
Yes.
The Bible records that a wise woman will build her house with her own hands. It's not a man.
Yes.
It's a woman. So you can imagine what a kind of a powerhouse that woman is. If you can build that house, and that house has a husband, has children, has all kind of investments in there, everything,
but
then it
you
means God has trusted you with
that house is in your hands.
Everything. So it means that God looks at you as someone very, very important. You're the only one who can look down on yourself. And you're the only one who can bring yourself down. So if you want to maintain your space, to maintain the position that God has given you, to maintain that space that the world has even given unto you, I mean, even when we are talking about nations, we call them she.
Yeah.
We call them she.
True.
So because that woman is a powerhouse, just like you're saying, she is responsible of multiplication, productivity, increase, everything. If only you respect yourself, you love yourself, you value yourself for who you are, and you gain self-awareness of your developmental stages and maturation, so you can navigate in the right manner, then you become that powerhouse that God intended you to be.
Wow. I personally, individually, I Nina Gikunda needed to hear that this morning. Thank you. Now, who are the women you celebrate in your life?
I celebrate at least 2 women. That does not mean that the other women are not important,
No.
but at least 2. One of them is my mother, my biological mom. She is a great lady. She is a hero for me, carrying me in her womb for all those months and then bringing me up. And by the way, our mother is a real powerhouse. She sired more than 10 children. Why do I say more than 10? Because she lost like 2 or 3. So being able to bring up 10 kids, 9 girls, 1 boy.
What?
And all of us becoming who we are, and specifically me being where I am today. Mommy, I celebrate you wherever you are. Then number 2 is my second mom. That is my mentor. My mentor took me up on the onset of teenage. And she really brought me up. She really created the who I am today. Because you can imagine falling in the hands of someone on the onset of your late teen, that is 18, 19. And this is where maturation crisis is top notch. This is where you can really lose your root. This is where you can lose everything and become nothing. That powerhouse you're talking about, you can become a crash. She took me at that particular time, molded me. She saw something great in me and brought it out. She nurtured me to become who I am today. I celebrate her. She is in California with her family. I love her very much.
That's a very touching story.
Yes.
It's beautiful to have a mentor. See who you really are from a very tender age up until the woman that you are now.
Yes.
She must be very proud wherever she is.
Totally. Totally proud. I stayed under her. I'm still under her even today. Yes. She's still my mentor. She will tell me don't, I will not do. She will tell me do, and I will do.
And you will do.
Yes.
That's very beautiful. Into the conversation of today, a woman. I want you to take us through the maturation of a woman. Do we start from 0? Do we start from adolescence? Where do we start?
Maybe today we can start from adolescence, because I am aware that a majority of our adolescents are at home.
Oh yes.
And most likely they will be watching this, or at some point they will happen to, bump on it. And I would say that much as we shall not dwell on the
young,
earlier
small,
stages,
yes.
I want to say that life is like more or less like a staircase.
Yes.
If one stair is faulty, the rest will be very hard for you
to
navigate.
Yes, true.
So I want to hope that we are talking to women who have been able to navigate, and in the event they have not been able to navigate, I would also encourage them to begin from where they are. Begin from where you are. It's not too late. You can begin from that stair you are in. So maturation for the adolescents.
Yes.
Remember last time we talked about us being truthful. Tell it the way it is. Don't beat about the bushes.
Yes.
Now we have come to the adolescents now. And remember, I usually say, maturing children is so easy. But then it is not that easy if you do not have information. How easy is it? It is just like the way that child is taught in school. I mean, you will not give a formula of pi r squared to a standard 2 kid.
Yes.
You will only give them 1 plus 1, and maybe you give them stakes so they count with. But come to class 7, class 6, class 8, that is something they are aware of.
Yes.
At the same time, you will not give an essay question to a class 7. But see now, the class 8 are doing their KCPE, the Form 4s are doing their KCSE. Class 8, they will only do A, B, C, D. They read a question, they pick A or B or C. How about the Form 4s? They have to show the calculation, the formula, and everything.
Yes.
So it is that easy. Just the way this child was introduced slowly by slowly in academics is the same way these other issues, including sex education, are supposed to be taught slowly by slowly.
You just give them what they can actually chew on.
Exactly. Otherwise, how do you expect me to be able to understand the weight of the same, yet I was not taught by anybody? It is I
didn't start from the nitty-gritties.
Exactly, yes. So when we talk about maturation, this teenager or these adolescents, a lot is happening in their bodies.
Yes.
They are changing physically. Some of them begin getting pimples. Others begin breaking their voices. Others will start becoming huge, like the boys will enlarge their shoulders. The girls will start broadening their hips, and everything is happening around them. And as they continue growing, there is an eye that is seeing them grow. You know, we usually say the beautiful ones are not yet born.
Yes.
They are usually born at adolescence, not when they are toddlers. They are all over. They are crawling everywhere, the beautiful ones. But they begin being born when now we start seeing the hips,
the body changes,
the boobs, the walking style, you know, the talking, the voice.
Yes.
You see, now when that child they
start experiencing their feminine side more.
Yes, and you know, the maturation stage is which we call the identity crisis mostly. The identity crisis. You're now trying to identify yourself with your peers. Can I fit in? Can I be acceptable? Am I more admirable than my friends? You know, can I beat them?
I don't look like you.
You know, you're at that stage where you're feeling like you're kind of confused. You're feeling you need everybody around you. Even the body is demanding that you need a wider social circle now more than your family. So if I am not
a social circle where you are all going through the same thing.
Yes.
Like a support group.
And most of the times this teenager or these adolescents will feel like the parent is so intrusive.
You're not understanding me.
You're not giving me my space. You're suffocating me. Can't you just allow? I want to go stay
with my friends. You're not letting me be. Yes.
You know? And the parent now is worried. Will you go out there? Because mentally, many of the parents will think that when that teenager goes out there, they will go to have sex. Whereas this teenager, a majority of them, before they even go to the step of sex, they're just going to have fun, to enjoy, to feel the warmth, inclusivity, be told, wow, you're looking beautiful. Hey!
Your body is looking nice.
They just want to hear that, and it is going to feed their ego. But for the parent, they are thinking, when you go out there, you're going to have sex, you're going to have this. So there is a whole conflict between the two.
This reminds me of me growing up. I really had very strict parents. Me and my parents genuinely fought all the time. We fought up until I was 18. And I used to tell my parents, I used to tell Madam Susan. Madam Susan is one of our mentors. I used to tell Madam Susan, my parents are not understanding me. They're not giving me my freedom. And then most of my friends had the freedom. So my friends would go for concerts. My friends would go for parties. My friends would go places. They would go to town to just hang out. And my mother would say, dare you step out of that gate. Dare you step out of that gate. And I would get mad. We were always fighting. In through my teenage, I can say genuinely, me and my parents fought through my entire teenage stage. Did I step out? No.
You didn't.
I didn't. I used to feel left out. Like you're saying, I want to be a part of a particular, let's call it a support group, yes? I want to have friends who we are going through the same things, but my parents won't let me go out. And even at times, my mom would come from work, atanipata hapo nje nikicheza na watu. Atapita hapo aniambie nifike kwa hiyo mlango mbele yako.
Okay.
nifike kwa hiyo mlango mbele yako. Saizo I left the house at 1. I've not washed the house, I've not cleaned the dishes, I have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. Na ninajiuliza haje mama yangu akifika kwa hiyo mlango afaa kupata niliosha nyumba. I don't know how that was supposed to happen. The dishes are clean, the house is clean, and I have gotten to the house before and amenipita. And we would really fight. Hey, me and my parents fought. We really fought because I really felt, I used to feel left out. And it used to, okay, I would say at that time I thought I used to feel damaged, you know, as in I'm not fitting in. Look, I'm like you're saying, I have all these body changes, I feel beautiful, I feel nice, but you're not letting me go experience it out there. And it used to affect me very, very much. Like you're saying, like you as a parent, you can see the dangers, but for me, I'm seeing that particular stage in my life that I'm missing out on.
Yes. Yeah, because the dangers are here. This teenager had gone out not to have sex, but to be admired, to be praised, to be loved, to be hugged, just that. But then because the body is developing, some of the things that develop inside a teenager, when not even a teenager, when everybody is developing, some of them is getting to now experience the feelings and know that you're feeling. You experience the feelings and you're aware that I can feel it. So you are experiencing the sexual desires and you can feel it. The sexual excitement, because remember, we are wired erotically. From the hair in the head to the toe. It is all over erotic. So when you're hugged and you're developing, the hormones are telling you there's something that is moving inside you that is making you feel better than when you're hugged by your mom, your brother, your uncle. You know, they have hugged you in the past.
But you never felt
But you never felt that. But when you're hugged by a boy here, and especially your peer,
and then you smile, then
some chemistry happens.
Then you are there smiling the whole week.
Yes. Even in your sleep, by the way. You smile even when you're sleeping. So the parent will look at it beyond what the teenager sees. They just think, sisi ni bash tu. Mbona unanikataza na ninaenda tu kuonana na my friends?
But then what is it that brings about this conflict, especially between girls and mothers? What brings this is it the emotional aspect, the social aspect? What brings in all these conflicts?
It is everything. The emotional, the social, the psychological, and of course, how each parent was socialized. If you were socialized in a setup that you people did not used to go out, it will be very hard for you to allow your teenager to go and explore the world out there. Because that is how you were socialized, that is how you grew up, that is what you know, or you know. So, you know, like in life, everything we do is informed by the values, the nature, you know, a huge part of us.
The rule of you can only give what you are given.
Our world view is informed by the way we grew up, the environment, the morals, the values, and everything. So for you to be able to release that child, in fact, even when they get to the point of getting out of the nest, you will find that their parents who will still hold on. They feel a kind of insecurity of letting them move out because they were never allowed to go and explore the world. So the conflict comes in when that parent remembers. The reason why we were told to stay is because of 1, 2, 3, 4. Like now, see, you have just said them days you thought that you were being damaged and wasted. But when you grew up, you realized
am
how
grateful that it happened.
Yes, exactly, yes. Now, if you have a girl, I remember last time we were talking about your daughter. It will only take God for you to be able to allow her to move out so freely.
Yes.
And explore the world. There will always be that string like you got from your mother and your parents. That is why there is always a conflict, because this lady wants to go out and do what the mother never did. explore the world in a way that their mother never did. And there are so many insecurities, of course. Today there are so many insecurities. Unlike our days, they can go do drugs, they can watch pornography. And you know now, again, one of the reasons that will even make the parent become more strict is because as growing up, I don't know about you, we only knew that if you relate with a boy, you can become pregnant.
Even a handshake, a mere handshake.
Even a handshake. That was the worst and the most that could have happened. How about today? There is a lot that can happen and you get no pregnancy. A lot. You will go do so many things. You will go explore the world. And you know, nowadays they even know up to the final the final stage. The finer details, because they have pornography with them.
Information is just
they have watched it throughout. They even know how it happens. They even know what goes on, including the sounds and the noises and everything. And so you can imagine when they are in a house alone
by themselves.
Bash, wameenda hapo. And some of them are doing drugs, so they will become reckless. They will forget, because when you are under influence of something, you totally forget yourself.
Yes.
So that is why that parent is insecure, because this young girl is at the stage of attraction. Don't forget that the parent is also studying the girl growing. Don't forget that your mommy could see you growing, becoming more beautiful, becoming more admirable,
more feminine.
And that made her fear more. The beautiful you become, the fearful she became.
But now, sorry, finish.
Because alikuwa naona danger, more danger. You know, this girl is so beautiful. She is so well built. She has been brought up very well. She will be admired by everybody. And I don't know whether she will be able to make the right choices. I don't know whether she will be able to say no when necessary. So that fear can make her even put some
more locks and buy a gun.
Are you saying?
So we've established that's the problem. So what is the solution? What happens? What do parents need to do in order to take their girls through the process, in order for them not to feel, like I said, damaged, in order for them not to feel left out? What is the best way to take them through that whole entire teenage, which is what, 13 to 17?
Around
the entire, let's just say it's high school, high school yote, from class 8 to entire high school.
Yeah, high school and partially college. Partially college, because there's some of us, some of the teenagers usually go to college when they are so young. There are some who finish as early as 16 years of age, and so you can imagine 16, they're still teenagers in their young teen. They are on the onset of the next level of teenage, 17, 18, up to around 23. So we are talking of teenagers even up to the age of 23. So what should happen? One of the most important things I talked about last time, self-awareness. The parent is supposed to gain awareness of the changes that are happening in our days, because those days you would tell that young girl, do not mix with boys. But if I am with a girl, my parents would not be so worried. I remember, because I was very active in the youth as a young teen. As long as I was with so and so who is a girl, even when I come home and mom will ask me, umeshindaje, umechelewa wapi?
Kwa kanisa.
Tulikuwa na fulani ndio tumekujanisha na wao. And you know, in shags everybody knew each other. So hadi anajua huyo ni mtoto wa fulani, au huyo ni mzee wa kanisa, huyo ni mtoto wa fulani, huyo ni pastor, you know. So she's very okay. But how about today? If your daughter is spending the whole day in the house with another girl, be worried.
Question.
It is a real scare. So it is not only about boys. Let parents gain this self-awareness that you should even be more worried when your child is spending a whole chunk of time with the same gender as opposed to the opposite. If you realize that your child is not attracted to the opposite, by the way, me, I trigger my children. I seriously trigger them. and I really want to know, do you usually get attracted to this opposite? Do you feel anything? Is there any chemistry? Or you just feeling like, ni kawaida
Me, I
tu.
just want to hang out with my girls, with my friends.
This is my sister. I look at them like my younger sisters. Younger who?
Sisters.
So gaining self-awareness is very, very important. Elewa ya kwamba these young teenagers are also developing cognitively. What does that mean? Their cognition now is abstract. They can be able to think in an abstract manner, not like the way you used to tell them, ama the way mtoto angeangalia umemwekea glass mbili hapa, one of them is wide bottom, the other one is slender.
Narrow bottom, yes.
Yes, and you are asking them which of the two is can hold more water than the other, and both of them are equal.
Yes.
And that child will look at the one that has a broader bottom and think this one can hold more water than this one. Now they can be able to tell both of them are equal. Both of them are the same. They can be able to look at things in a very broad way
manner.
They can be able to get ideas. They can be creative. They can think. They know the good and the bad. They are able to tell, if I do this, these are the consequences. Don't take them like blank slates, people who don't think for themselves. They can think and they are aware of the thinking, such that if that child is seated and they are thinking of gay, they can tell that is what I'm thinking about. It is not something that they will sit and ask them and be so worried, like the first time when you get your menses. That child is so scared. Oh, now how did it come? What is happening?
Yes.
This time they are aware. They know. They even know how I feel on the onset of my menses. So when you gain that awareness as a parent, then you sit that child down, discuss with them real issues.
So where do you start? Where do you start when you are starting that conversation? How do you drive that conversation?
Number one, it can only start if you started earlier. If you hadn't started earlier, you will always find blocks. Because it means you were not as close with your child
from the
to
beginning.
To discuss issues. But if you had started with them earlier, you will not feel there won't be any problem you bringing in this topic at this particular time now and picking, like now we have picked from where we left. It is exactly that. You pick from where you left. In the event you were not able to do
have
that,
those conversations.
now it is when you expose your child to people you trust. People you trust, and I repeat, people you trust. Because there is a time you can entrust your child to a person and they damage them more. I will tell of an experience I had with someone. I will not mention names. But this lady told me she used to work with a lady who was exposed to her by parents, thinking, we trust this lady. She's a very good lady. She is elderly. She is very wise, at that particular time. She was not as elderly as the parents, but almost nearly her age. What did this lady do? This one, to say the lady is X and Y. Y is the one trusted by the parents. X is the daughter.
Yes.
You see? So X becomes pregnant when she's in college. What does Y tell her
to do? Get rid of it.
Procure an abortion. Because your parents will not start this.
They will blame me
if you
for
go,
it.
And if you go, and imagine she sits her down and does some calculations. Now ask yourself, if you go to your parents and tell them you're pregnant, what are the pros and cons? How about your education? How about the person who has been trusted by their parents? And they will speak very highly of her. She being with our daughter, she will guide her through. But she is the very one helping this young girl to become, when she's pregnant, to procure an abortion. What have you done to this young girl? And she's just maturing. So you're telling her, even tomorrow, even when I'm not there, if again you conceive and you feel you're not ready,
rid of it.
flush. So I am only saying we need to walk with these children hand in hand. Unamshika mkono, mnatembea na yeye bila kumwacha nyuma. Walk with them. Because if you leave them behind right from pale chini, huyu mtoto, when they are of age, you will not be able to control them, you will not be able to talk with them and trust them. People you trust, people you believe in, people you know that they can be accountable of anything they say and any behavior they want to expose your children to. Some of our neighbors are the ones that are destroying our children.
True.
So even when you're recommending them to go to any seminar, I mean, there are pastors who have taken advantage of people who have gone to seek for help.
Yes.
And they take advantage of them. They wanted to stop a certain behavior, they encourage it.
The behavior.
Yes. So it is very necessary that you take account of who you are entrusting your child to before you entrust them. Get a counselor. And when you're getting a counselor, make sure that the values that counselor stands for are your values. Yes. They could be different, and instead of helping them, they
worsen
the situation. They worsen the situation. So if you didn't do that at that particular time, all is not lost. If you are a teenager and you have realized that your parents cannot be able to help you understand or even learn sexual development, which is very, very necessary, and you're feeling kind of confused, you know, at some time, it is good to always tell the truth. When you're growing up, there were times you felt that my body needs something extra. Even if sometimes you cannot be able to really tell what exactly it is, but you can feel, my body is demanding for some. It's like when you're thirsty and you're feeling you really need to take water. So, and we didn't get anybody to guide us through or to lead us through. It was a real struggle and mess. So if you are a young teenager growing out there and you have no one to guide you, identify. Because like I said the other time, they are children, yet they are adults. In what sense? They can be able to tell, see, they are in school. How are they able to choose the person they would want to help them in a certain subject? How are they able to tell, let me approach the teacher so they can help me in 1, 2, 3, 4? The same way, they can be able to identify someone who can listen to them and someone who can guide them through in the right path. So if you are that teenager and maybe your parents are not concerned, they don't even concern themselves with what happens to you, where you go, who you hang out with.
It is really not their problem.
Yeah, it is not their problem. Identify someone who can guide you through so you do not become messed up.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that we have identified how to solve that problem, how we can get into the conversation. You've given us the story of the young girl that got pregnant. At what point do we introduce the conversation on pregnancy, and at what point, and are we even allowed to introduce the conversation on contraceptives or even contraception?
Just like I said the other time, we need to get to a point where we stop becoming firefighters. We want to jump in when there is a fire. You see, like what happened on Monday. That is firefighting. I mean, the government has known that border riders have been rough.
Yes, and assaulting people.
Yes, but until there was a fire, that was late.
Nothing.
That is when everybody, all the ambulances, everything directed there. It is a high time we cease becoming firefighters and we help people know how can we be able to live with the fire and not cause harm. How can we be able to use the fire to help us, to benefit us and not cause any harm to us? So what am I saying? Teach me, guide me, tell me, what are contraceptives? What are their benefits? What harm can they do to me? What are the pros and cons? You know, just like we teach drugs and substance abuse. Why wouldn't we teach about contraceptives?
Come to think of it, yes, it makes a lot of sense.
They are drugs as well. So why would you tell me not to keep on using certain drugs and not to do over the counter for some drugs, yet for these ones, it's kind of swept under the rug? You don't tell me not to also do over the counter. You don't also tell me not allowed to under 18.
When you think about it, you see, when we talk about drug and substance abuse, we don't look at it in the angle of, you guys are teaching kids drugs, now they will go to look for them.
Yes.
The same angle we look at it with sex education. You're teaching children sex education, they will go do it.
It depends on how you teach it.
Yes.
Bring all details to me. Then help me to see the consequences. Because last time I told you about 3 C's that I don't leave behind. The chance, the choice, and the consequence. Allow me to know the chances that I have. Allow me to know what choices do I have. Like now I would have chosen to come or not to come.
Yes.
And then let me know the consequences. If I choose this path, these are the consequences. If I choose this other one, these are the consequences. Then I will sit with myself and reason. And I will be able to know which one do I pick, which one do I not. Depending on the kind of awareness that has been created for me. Otherwise, we refuse to teach them. They will know it. In fact, they know it, not they will.
They do.
They know it,
yes.
even maybe more better than I do. They have been able to explore. They have sat with their peers. Their peers have told them, don't use this, use this. Na mimi nilitumia itakuongezea ma weight, usitumie hii, mimi nilitumia, anaenda anatumia nyingine. Unaona? How about if
you are at home thinking you are a baby girl, very innocent.
You're looking at your baby girl and you're telling yourself, hey, this girl is growing. Brother. Kumbe, there are so many things that are happening without your knowledge.
Yes.
Instead of you leaving them for trial and error, why not bring in the whole detail for them, sit them down.
Give them the right information.
Give them the right information. Bring in all detail. Then work with them. Of course, you don't bring the details like one day, pop, and then you leave them. No, bring the details,
make it a
discuss. Yes, discuss with them, evaluate, look at the pros and cons, listen to them. When they say, hey, in that one I differ with you, listen to where they're coming from. When they say they differ, what do they mean? Let you hear them telling you what they mean by that.
And then you allow yourself as a parent to listen. Because I imagine most African parents, if you hear your teenage daughter telling you, this one I differ with you. Hiya.
Where ya?
Here ulijulia wapi? Teach me now, because you know better than I do.
Yes.
How do you move forward with such a conversation?
That is blocking. You will block, and tomorrow they will not even tell you what they don't differ. Today they were telling you what they differ with. You block. Tomorrow they will not even tell you what they do not differ. And that does not mean that at some point you will not put your foot down. You will. There's a measure of discipline that you must introduce. But then there's a place where you discuss things. You sit, you discuss, you talk about it, so that tomorrow when you realize there's a loophole somewhere, then you will come in with a point of reference. But if you never told me anything, then what is this that you're coming to tell me? Ati, you know, by the way, I came into your bedroom and I found some P2s. Did you even tell me what those are? Mi niko tuko try and error. Nione ni gani itawak, ni gani haitawak in this stage as I try to maneuver.
And then next time I know that I will hide them better.
Yes. And you know, when teenagers are growing again, there's the frontal brain that is in charge of so many things like ideas, personality, executive functionings of a person. And it is the last one to develop in a human being. Now when it is developing, a measure of fear develops in them.
Yes.
What fear? Fear of uncertainty. Because they are very high expectations, societal expectations, peer expectations, academic expectations, nini, all over. So that fear of like, do I have the capacity to manage? Do I have the capacity to overcome? Do I have the capacity to go through this and successively navigate all that fear. Now, when you come so harshly and you block them, the fear increases. And what did we say? Our brain functions either flight, fight, freeze, faint. So the teenager may freeze. In the house, utampata ya kwamba this child never talks. And you will hear many parents saying, you know, when this girl was young, we were so close. She was very vibrant. She used to come tell me stories and things. Immediately, alifika teenage. Akablock. Check your walk with that child when they got to teenage. Maybe there is something you said that made this child block. Either body shaming. You're eating too much. Look at your body. It is high time you stop eating like that. Unaona
nani atakupenda ukinona hivyo?
Umenona hivyo watoto wa form 1 waone ni tutoto na wewe ni mama.
What?
Wewe mtoto ana block completely. Anajiangalia shape, anajidharau kila kitu yake. So the fear becomes so intense such that even when they are now trying these things, they are trying out of fear. Fear of what? Being criticized by their peers. Unaona? So I fear they will criticize me. I fear they will not accept me. So what can I do? Let me also try so that I can fit in. Huku nilishapata block, sitaki nipate block kwa my peers. So they try out of fear. Other times they're just exploring. They're just, you know, in my excitement too and having fun. In the process, anajipata amemes. So what happens to this child? Pia ana block, ana retreat. Mwingine ataenda shule, like in high school, amepata story ya lesbianism, homosexuality, masturbation. These are things they had never had
or seen before. Yes.
Since they were born. Ame-encounter. Na huku pastor akikuja anasema such kind of people are devil worshippers. So what does the girl tell herself? Oh my God, I live in a school where devil worship
full of devil worshippers
is practiced freely,
yes,
and openly, and nobody hides. So what does that girl do? If you are that harsh parent, anashat, freeze, totally. Haongei, hasemi chochote, ananyamaza tu, ana withdraw, amekuwa.
And is it easy for such individuals to be pulled into that side?
That direction? Very easily. Because like I said, they could be nursing their fears. And nursing their fears, they are, okay, in the process of you being told this is devil worship, this is this and this, you can also be able to see that they are kind of excited. So you are wondering, if devil worship inapea watu excitement. So it is very easy to be lured because again, you do not have anybody you can go and ask for guidance. This is what I saw. This is what I hear when I'm sleeping. This is what is happening. How do I navigate? You don't have anybody to ask. So you can easily be pulled into that direction.
So you opt to go and ask them.
Yes, as opposed to the person who has been furnished very well with information. That person who is furnished with information might find themselves being able to navigate in a very healthy way and emerge very strong and very independent. This other one will be taken round in circles. Anaenda kwa yule, anaenda kwa huyo, anaenda kwa huyo mwingine, or atajipata ametokelezea tu. Just the way tulijipata tumetokelezea miraculously. We found ourselves on the road.
Surviving.
Hey, but tulikuanga deep end. Ni Mungu tu. So we found ourselves surviving.
Yes.
So even them, they can just survive very slim chances.
Yes. With now we've managed to identify how to get into the conversation, how to drive the sex conversation all the way now from teenage to sasa si amemaliza high school. Ameona hizo vitu zote, you've navigated, ameshtuka, amemaliza, amejaribu everything. Now this girl is getting into campus. Campus hakuna mtu anamuuliza, wherever you go, whatever you do with your life is really it's really your business. How do you talk to this girl, or how do you enable this girl to navigate into that life?
One of the things that is so sure,
without messing herself up.
one of the things that is so sure, if you are able to shape a tree as it is growing, believe you me, it will grow straight. If you never were able to shape it, then when it is grown, totally grown, try to shape it and you break it. So this university girl who has worked with the parents since they were toddlers, and they have been introduced to sex education by and by, bit by bit, they will be the ones coming to you to even seek for advice. They will even be the ones giving you information you never knew, so that this information can help them, can even help you to grow more and to know things that you do not know of your age. There are things that were done in your age that are not done in their age, yet there are others done in their age that you didn't know in your age. They will help you know them. Because here, they are very open with you. They are very free with you. They know you will not condemn them. I have seen girls come to their mothers and tell them, by the way, ma'am, I have this man who is approaching me and telling me this, and I feel like I'm falling for him. I feel like I want him to be my boyfriend. And the mother and the girl discuss the pros and the cons and everything, the red alerts, what you're to check, where you're to look and everything. And they even help them how not to heartbreak other people, because you also do not want to be heartbroken. So what are the things that you're supposed to do? And that is what my mentor did to me. She really walked with me at that age now you're talking about, where I have come at the age where I can be loved. People want to be all over me. You know, all along I have been that outgoing young girl. And many other times I will go to some place and I will stand out because I'm talkative. And so I am a sanguine choleric. And you know how those people are.
Yes.
So I am fun all over me. I want to go places. I want to, you know, I'm laughing, I'm making fun. And so people will look at me and think, this is a very easygoing girl.
An interesting girl, yes.
Yeah, so we can have her anytime, you know. So my mom, my mentor now, taught me how to balance. Go have fun with everybody, know your boundaries.
But
know
a no
your
is an actual
limits.
no.
Yes, know your limits and let your yes be yes, let your no be no. To date me, I don't usually have a problem with no's and yes. If I can't do something, I can't. If I don't want something, I don't want. And I'm never guilty. So help that person in the at the university how to know that when I set my boundaries, they should not be so rigid such that no one, you know, a very thick wall such that no one can penetrate. Because again, if you build a very thick wall around you, you may suffer when now you need someone around you. Neither should they be very weak walls such that they can just be pushed by anybody and they will get in. Yeah.
Where I'm still trying to pick it. I'm still trying to digest all that information. So now, this girl has reached. Are there any body changes that change in a girl between 19 to 25? After adolescence? After adolescence,
our body keeps on changing and developing.
Yes.
Keeps on changing because of hormones. And remember, our bodies may not necessarily change by age per se, because we have early maturers, late maturers. So you may not say that it is between 13 or 14 that is when this changed, or it is between this and that. Just understand your body. And that you cannot be able to understand unless you're helped by someone to understand your body. So you can know, I can feel some slight changes and I thought I was through with development. What is happening with me? So you will not be so fearful or so worried or think of yourself weird. Again, if they start engaging in sex, there are other hormonal changes that occur between a person who is engaging, who is active, and a person who is not active. Yes.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Now, with all that said, I would like you to talk to this adolescent girl out there. This adolescent girl who is currently probably having esteem issues. This young adolescent girl who is trying to understand herself and how she's evolving. This adolescent girl who is trying to love herself and who's trying to fit in. Talk to that young girl and help her understand herself.
Number one, I would talk to her and tell her to love herself. I always tell people, you are your first admirer. You are your first self-admirer. If I can't admire myself, I don't expect anybody to admire me out there. But if I admire myself, the other people's opinion will carry very little weight. It may matter because maybe they were helping me to edit the way I look. You know, there is a way I can look and tell myself, I'm okay. But then maybe there's someone who can help me to look better. So their opinion will not carry as much weight as my opinion carries. So but I will listen and I will be able to know, okay, you've told me this and this and this. Okay, I hear you. So this is what I will do. I will edit my life like this. So admire yourself first, accept yourself first, love yourself first. Maybe there are so many things that we are usually told as we grow up. And some of them have a very huge impact on us. Maybe they weigh down on us. You know, when I was growing up, I thought I was the ugliest person under the sun. There can never be another uglier person than me. You know, that is what I believed. And I couldn't even look at myself in a mirror. I looked at myself in a mirror through my mentor. And it was not that easy for me to look myself in a mirror. She had to forcibly take me to a mirror so that I can start looking at myself through the mirror. Because I believed I was so ugly, I am shapeless, I don't deserve. I became so isolated. I isolated myself. Loneliness was my portion. So when I grew up and I was able to overgrow that, I always tell people, admire yourself first. Love yourself first. Let everybody say what they will tell you.
When everyone else sees how well you take care of yourself, now that is how you are setting the pace of how they will love you, how they will admire you, how they'll take care of you.
When your parent tells you you're very lazy, take that word just as you know, an English word, but then sit down with yourself and ask, what is the reason that my mom would tell me I'm lazy? Is it because I don't do dishes at the right time? Is it because just correct where you know it is supposed to be corrected? If it is dishes, do them at the right time. If it is cleaning your clothes, do them at the right time. Then leave the rest. You know, always look at yourself and make sure that you want to better you as opposed to allowing other people to drive you and direct you. That is number one. Number two, seek clarity. Don't just do something. Girls, if you're listening to me where you are, don't just run for P2s. Girls, don't just run for P2s. Seek clarity. Don't just get yourself into family planning. Don't just tell yourself, oh, you know, I can do condoms. They can burst. I mean, don't just go for things that you do not know what it is you're going for. Then again, also remember, your brain is developing as a young girl. And when your brain continues to develop, what you feed it with, the mental diet. Take care of the mental diet. Just like we talk about the diet of our food, take care of the mental diet. If you continue feeding your brain with a lot of pornographic materials, you keep on feeding your brain with things that are going to always arouse you. You keep on feeding your brain with things that are always going to pull you down and put you down because you're following the social media, you're all over, and you're seeing people going places, you're seeing people being taken where, you're seeing people the way they are dressed, and you're not able to do that. Then your self-esteem is crushed. Check on your mental diet. Check on your mental diet. Do not allow yourself to be brought down by things that will not help you so much. Before they got there, they came from somewhere, and some of them are not even there.
It's how people like to say, if it will not matter 5 years from now, it
Yes.
really doesn't matter now.
It really doesn't matter now. Yes. Ask yourself when you're saying, I'm in a relationship. Okay, I have had people say, you ask them, how did you meet your love? And they tell you, we got hooked up when I was in high school. So
Yeah.
it happens. But then ask yourself, those are the ones saying it. How about me? Do I have the capacity to handle myself?
And my story can never be your story.
Exactly, yes. So take care of yourself, be a unit, be an individual, run your life with boundaries that you know you can manage, as opposed to following the crowd.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This conversation has been, you've seen how I've been listening in so much. I almost became a viewer at some point. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Yes.
It was very beautiful. We should definitely, now we will continue further. Now we will accommodate the boy child next time. Next
Yes.
time. Today
Yes.
we were talking about the woman. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
I appreciate that fact that you keep coming back to share with us your knowledge. We are grateful. This has been, where can we get you? For anyone who would want to seek.
0757 92 47 18. 0757 92 47 18. Instagram, therapist _ Wamwene. Facebook, therapist Wamwene. That is where you can get me.
So if you want to seek therapy, if you feel like you need help and you feel like therapist Wamwene is that person you would trust, she has given you where you can find her, talk to her, reach out to her. She will talk to you, she will listen in to you, she will, she will walk you through this journey, right? Thank you so much for coming. I am grateful for your time. We appreciate.
Thank you so much for also inviting me every other time. And for all developing girls, you're beautiful. Love yourself.
You're amazing. Right
Yes.
before we come to an end, I'd like to read some feedback. Hello, I'm DJ Oscar from Meru. I prefer celebrating my ex-girlfriend today. She made me stronger. That's nice. That's very nice. We also have Ian Dan Oyondi. Very educative message from the guest. Parents should be worried is their kids. What parents should be worried about is if their kids spend more time with the same gender. Hiyo ni hatari sana. Very, very true. We have Mtoto Mariam. I feel like I am in a safe space using VPN or some pseudo account. I long for a day we'll sit down with my daughter and speak real truth and facts when it comes to matters sexuality. I totally agree with you. We also have a very important message for ladies. Admire yourself first, love yourself first, appreciate yourself first. Stop being dependent on men's approval. I beg to differ, but we will fight another day. Thank you so much for joining us.